So on today's training, we're going to be going over the inventory setup. I am still using my demo, so this is not your database. So what you will see in here are already lenses that are imported. They'll have information in there, but it's a great way of just seeing the end result or your end product of how it's going to look like once you start doing it. I'm going to start with the easy stuff first, which is going to be lens treatments, miscellaneous. Oh, hello. I can hear you now. Services. Oh, okay. So in the inventory, which is file inventory, we're going to go over lens treatments, miscellaneous. Services can be anything. I've had people use this for soldering, frame repair, pretty much anything you guys want other than exam charges. So this one is open to you. Contact lenses, spectacle lenses, and then frames I'm going to leave for last, as this one has many ways of setting up the frame inventory, and it's not complex. It's just there's so many steps to it. It's going to eat up a lot of our time, so I'm just going to leave that for the last part. First, let's go to File, Inventory, Lens Treatments. In lens treatments, you'll see, well, when you have your database is going to look something like this. It's going to just be deleted. There's not going to be anything there. What you're going to do is you're going to hit the Add button that's located on the upper right quadrant of this module. And from there, you'd be able to choose which AR coatings, which custom edging or polish, or pretty much what treatments you would like to do. Notice that some are red and some are gray. The ones that are red are the ones that have already been imported into the database, so I can't import it again. I'd have to unlink the ones that I've transferred over from this module into into your lens treatment module to be able to download it again. Those that are in gray, you can select which ones you want. As you can see, it's a very nice long list of items. You have scratch coatings, you have slab on or slab off, UV coatings, oversized mirror coatings. We try to cover as much of the treatments as you can get. Anything that is custom or special, just download something that is similar or comparable to the product you want to change.
Basically, stuff that we're going to sell.
Yes, these are options that you would tack on to that sales order. So if they just purchased a single vision lens and they wanted to, or you sold them in a good AR coating, plus maybe they needed a prism, or they're going to get a drilled rimless, they're going to get a rimless frame. So now you have to tack on a rimless drill charge. All that's what you would use in here, all these options. If you needed to do edging, or tinting the lens, or pretty much anything would be around here. This does not include materials like polycarbonate, high index, mid index, any of those type of items, or transitions, polarized things, Essilor or Unity, Sunsync, brown or green or whatever it might be. Um, you don't have to. You're not adding that. That's going to be part of the lens package itself. So that's going to be all combined. This would be like additional add-ons that you might need to add.
Treatments added to the lenses, correct?
Yes. So from here, when you have the file already downloaded, notice that I've already priced these out. But to price them out, you select your lens, hit the modify button, or double click on it, and you can go and price out your treatments here. This will affect your retail. Now, we put it in the procedure code because that way it's available for both insurance and non-insured patients. If this is a unique lens, let's say this is a unique treatment from a lab, in-house lab edge, edgy AR one. You would type over that name, uncheck the box, and what you would want to do is also, if you are using DVI, you would map your DVI coding. And DVI is basically, it's a lab interface to transmit your jobs electronically. So I know you guys are still in the works of that, but by setting it, having it preset, you don't have to worry about going back here and doing it in the future because you're just knocking it out now. Or if you're thinking about it, you don't have to do it as well. You can always leave these blank, and they do come in blank, so you don't have to. They would look something like this, and you would have to go in and link them. So after you've changed the name, you made sure you unlink the item, right? And you made sure everything else is priced correctly, and you're able to send this to a lab. This is very important. You have to make sure you check this box and say, I'm sending it to a lab. If you don't, it's not going to be transmitted on a lab copy, or it won't be printed out on a lab copy. Okay? Click OK, and you're pretty much done. If I click add again, because I unlinked that Davis Vision AR coding, we should see Davis Vision, that premium AR, the one that I removed, available to be downloaded. You see?
Right.
So going through these, which one is it? The Crizal. The Crizals, or any ones that have the UV name in there. When you open up the file, you'll see that there are two procedure codes. One will be the AR, which is this one, and then one will be the UV. Now, because some offices integrate the UV price with the AR price, and they'll give it one total price, let's say it's 150, you have to subtract whatever the UV is from the AR, and that way you can get your total retail price of 150. Make sure you set send to lab, print on order, and pretty much that's it. Notice that this one doesn't have a DVI map to it because this one I never mapped it, as it's an example and it's a demo database. But if it was something that you are going to be mapping, you just scroll down the list and look for your Crizal Sun Shield with UV. I'll just select this one as an example. There, and then you hit OK. And that's pretty much it for the AR coatings. Now, I don't recommend, if you don't offer all these AR coatings to your customers, or if you do but you don't use them, I just recommend keep it nice, tight, and trim, so that way it's not 167 AR coatings that you're using, that you can use, but you're only using 20 of them or 5 of them or 6 of them.
Right. But what if, like, for example, on VSP, they have a select type of coatings that we normally just order online? Um, I don't see it there. I saw Davis. What is it?
Unity,
Several I know in
it's
there.
in alphabetical order, so most likely not, it would probably be one of these, the Unity, or no?
Okay, got it. Okay, so we can select those. Okay, no, that's fine.
Okay. So once you have that and you finished with that, the beautiful thing about the system is once we do it at one location, what we do at one location can be modified and sent over to the other location. So you're only really doing this once. You're not doing it 5 times or 7 times. Okay. The next part, file, inventory, other. The other module is for cases, solutions, cords, chains, pretty much readers, anything that you would like, you would enter in here. These are just non-insurable or non-materials. These are just things that you would have extra. please make sure that you have all that information listed. It depends on how you want to go. Do you want to go very detailed, or would you like to be very detailed or very generic, just saying case one, case two, case three, those type of things? It really would be dependent on you. How you approach this is also how it's going to be displayed and going to be also available for the CDC or your warehouse. So this is where you would want to sit down and see how you're going to map this out, because when you create something and if it's generic and everything is going to be all encompassing, you wouldn't know how to refill or restock those locations with that specific product. This is super simple. All you do is hit add and you type in.
Product, whatever I'm gonna sell. We add a lot of, it's just basically like the profit, how much we pay for it, the retail, the inventory.
You can type in the name. Now, remember when I told you about supplier lab yesterday, how it's important when you're doing purchase orders or anything? This is where supplier lab comes in, because now that you said that supplier is you I created a supplier lab Hilco, I'm able to now select Hilco as my supplier. Category can be called solution if you want to. It's really up to you on what you want to call that category. Type in the description of that lend or product. Now, if the product has a UPC code, type in that UPC code in here. So that way, when you have barcode scanners, your staffers just need to scan the barcode. If you leave it blank, the program will generate a barcode for you and it's not going to match what's on the product itself.
Okay. Now,
Type in.
if I don't do any purchase orders, do I leave that supplier blank?
Yes, if you don't, you can leave it blank. But also remember, if you're going to be using the warehouse and ordering products, this needs to be selected so that way you can go through the appropriate workflow for ordering products for your warehouse. And you kind of have like kind of everything there. And you can basically run a script or run it in a module. Say, I need to find out what products are low for all my locations, so I'm gonna grab Hilco, or I'll grab this brand, or I'll grab this manufacturer, and that way I can see what's pending, what's low, and I can restock their shelves real quick by running a report.
Okay.
You can also do one and call it accessories as your supplier. Let's say that's called accessories, and you could just do that. Now, when it comes to inventoried products, notice that my inventory checkbox is selected. That means that I am counting down every time I sell it. If you uncheck it, that means you do not sell it or you do not inventory it. You do sell it, but you do not keep count of how many times you've sold it. That's why the supplier lab was gone. Also, notice down here in the locations tab, you have your reorder points and you have your maximum inventory. Reorder point is basically how low do I want my inventory to get to before I can restock my shelves. So for this example, I'm going to say it's three. The minimum is 3 bottles in each location. Well, what's the maximum amount of bottles do I want in my locations? Is 10. So you just go through and type in 10. And what I'm telling the program is, if I reach 3 or below the price or of the bottles or inventory that I have, I can run a report and show that I need to restock for with 7 or more bottles, so that way I reach the maximum amount of 10 bottles. Any questions?
Yeah.
If a specific item has a percentage like different than everything else, you can change it here and put the commission amount, as you can see. But because you guys are doing different, you're going to do a gross percentage across the board, then you don't have to worry about that, okay? I was just showing you where the commission type is for the inventory item. From here, we hit OK, and that's it. And we would just rinse and repeat until we have all our products in here in the other module. The next module is File, Inventory, Services. Now, because again, this is a demo and this one has exam module activated, I have exam charges. I don't need exam charges for this. Let's say in my office, I do soldering, I do frame repair, or I don't know, scratches or whatever it might be. I can put services in here to charge those patients by hitting add. Now I'm going to get a list of exam charges in this list, as you can see. This is all pretty much exam charges. I don't want that. I can hit the add custom. That's located on the lower right quadrant. And in the add custom, I can just type in what I want. Frame repair. Thank you. And that's SOLDER, right? I think so. From there, if I want to create a unique UPC code for this repair, I can type that in here. I can say SOL if I want to, or SOLD, whatever you want. What these UPCs, by you manually typing in that UPC, you can create quick keys in the program or on the sales order where you can just type in SOL and then hit enter, and that would hit solder repair directly into the sales order for you instead of you searching for it. Put in your value. Of course, if there's a cost to it, you would put a cost. If not, just leave it alone. And you really wouldn't touch anything else because you're not sending it to the lab. We're not making appointments. You can say it's a favorite if you constantly use it. I don't think you would need it. And then online, you leave it unchecked. Everything else is pretty much done here. And we hit OK. And there you go. Now, as you can see, I put SOL. What that means is that I can go here to the sales order. And in my sales order, instead of me going to services and let's say I have a ton of services and I don't want to look for it, I could go here to the UPC field and I could type in SOL and I hit enter on my keyboard and it'll kick it in for me real quick. So keep that in mind. I've had customers who have created lens package deals in their spectacle lenses and they created their own unique UPC codes or their own unique quick keys so they can just ring up a patient's sales order that much quicker because they're not searching for everything. They're just typing in codes and those codes will build their list for them or their sales order.
Hey, Forrest, and we could even, I mean, I guess if you have someone that's new at the optical, new optician, or someone that's totally new to this, we could just print out these codes and just have them handy there by the workstation.
Yes, sir. There is a barcode file inventory barcodes. I've had other offices do that, have a binder, and in their binder, they separated single visions, bifocals, trifocals, progressives, their most popular ones, their house brands or anything. And the staffers, all they have to do is just quickly look for that specific spectacle lens. Search. Let me just I'll show you what I mean. Hit apply. And they would print something out like this, and then that way they could just scan the barcode. Kind of like going to CVS or Walgreens, these type of pharmacies where everything's pretty much scanned. The fruits come on a piece of a paper, and they're just scanning that paper.
That is nice. Yeah.
So there are many types of labels. Of course, you can just go through these types of labels and see which one best fits your needs. You can also customize it so that way it matches what you would like to show, how you want to show it, how many you would like to show on on a page. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. All right. So that is the services module. Any questions there?
No.
Let's go to file inventory and let's go to contact lens. Now, this one's pretty straightforward. It is pretty easy. You do need to create an account on this website. It's a free service that's offered. And the website is lensondemand.com. What you're able to do is use this service to communicate with your distributor, your vendor, OOGP, Diversified Optomics, ABB Concise,
ABB, yeah.
Wisconsin Vision. Pardon?
With ABB, yeah.
Yes. So you can communicate with them and download their list of contacts that they have available.
Oh, okay.
Once you've downloaded this list, it comes with every single parameter, every single prescription that's available for that contact lens. You can generate your sales order, then create a purchase order, submit this purchase order through Lens on Demand. Lens on Demand will package it and then send it off to ABB. Basically, they're your carrier. They're the ones that grab your brand or your lab order or your contact lens order and submits it to ABB. You can submit bulk orders, and that way you avoid the shipping fee. Um, Things like that. Questions on this part?
No.
Now, um, contact lenses. Once you sign in, if you can shoot me an email, I can probably set you guys up in the back end. If you generate that email, or if you generate an account, I can help set it up on your database, hopefully by today, if not by Thursday of next week when I come back in. And we can basically assist you in that. Well, not I won't be able to, but once it's connected, you're able to download the contact lenses. Contact lens downloads take about a day in total because it's just constant downloading contact lenses that you're putting into your system. So that one will just be downloading for one day. Okay.
Yeah, because there's just so many. Is there an option for us just to pick the certain brands that we use?
Yes. So I'm going to go over that next. So once you're in the contact lens inventory module, you click the LOD button. That's located on the lower right quadrant or middle quadrant of the contact lens module.
Uh-huh.
By clicking LOD, it's going to connect to the Lens on Demand interface. Once the interface has been established within My Vision Express and Lens on Demand. Now, mind you, my computer's just a little bit slow. That's why it's running a little slower than expected. Once you have this, you're going to use your drop down menu. Now, because I have a demo added onto this, you see ABB Concise, New Era, OGGP, Optiport, Wisconsin. You see all of this. But because you're only registered with ABB Concise, you're only going to have ABB Concise. Again, the ones that are gray are the ones that I've imported into the system, as you can see. Those that are white have not been imported. Again, you're going to use the control key on your keyboard to select those contact lenses you want to import. I'm just going to import 4 spherical ones. Okay, these 4 I'm going to import. This is the diagnostic product for the retail Night and Day Aqua, and this is the diagnostic of the multi 6-pack. When you select your items and you hit import, the program will start transferring those files over. Depending if it's a toric. Torics have thousands of variable prescriptions, so those take longer. Spherical multifocal are the fastest ones to download, as you can see. Torics, multifocal torics, or any other one, stigmatisms, because they have so many prescriptions, they take a little bit longer to download. Okay?
Gotcha.
Once you're done, you're going to get a pop-up window saying everything's been downloaded. Hit OK, and you'll see your list. You are responsible of going inside your retail product and matching the diagnostic to the retail. To do that, you're just going to double click on the retail product, and from there you're going to use your trial lens name drop down menu, and you're just playing the matching game. That's pretty much it. Make sure you select your diagnostic so that way it's linked to your trial. I want you to note, where are you? Here we go. If you notice here where it says Air Optics plus Hydroglide multi-diag monthly retail. Now that I've matched this trial lens to the retail product, this diagnostic will convert from retail to trial, just like this one, because I'm telling the program, hey, anytime I select this brand and I'm going to dispense a trial, I can hit a trial button on my sales order, and that way it will convert it to a trial contact lens. You'll see it in action once we do some training. Now, the retail pricing is straightforward. Just type in the retail price, type in your costs. If you give the customers a discount on specific items, if they buy a 6-month or a 12-month, this is a per box discount, meaning if I give them a $2 discount per box, I will type in $32 if they buy a 6-month supply. Now, this is very important. The quantity is in reference to how many boxes are on a sales order, or how many boxes do they need to purchase per eye. So keep that in mind. You can only do one or the other. You can't do both. So this is where you choose how many contact lens boxes do they need to purchase on the sales order. If they need to buy 8, then you would say 8 boxes.
They have to purchase 8 to get the 32. Right.
To 32 discount, yes. Now, the good news is that the program will not calculate the discount until you select the marketing discount, meaning it doesn't do it automatically. You, as the optician or whoever's selling the product, would have to consciously select it. So some people like that because that allows them to not give the patient a discount if there's no more discounts, and it's not automatically calculating for them, and then they can give it when they need to give it. 12-month supply, same thing. If you're going to give them $4 off, you would say $30 per box, and they have to purchase 16 boxes, let's say. Now, if it was per eye, then you're saying 8 boxes per eye and 4 boxes per eye to get this discount. You get me? Any questions here? Same thing, commission structure if you need to. Anytime you type in a note on an inventory item, it will show up on a sales receipt. So keep that in mind. When you're writing in notes, they will show up on the patient sales receipt. Okay? In the configuration tab, you really don't have to do anything here. You're just confirming that you see prescriptions. That's pretty much it. Do I see prescriptions? Yes, I do. Then we're good. You don't have to scroll down either. You just want to make sure that you see something here. If it comes out blank, because sometimes it happens, let's say it looks something like this when you open it, you go to configurations, you find out that everything is gone. Give it a second. Like this, you see the update config button. What the update config button does is if you imported this contact lens from ABB Concise, you can click this button and this will reconnect itself to ABB Concise and start importing the prescriptions. If you keep stock of contacts, but you know what? Let me skip that because you guys don't do any stocking of contacts, so I'm going to skip that. Once you're done, you're done. Hit OK, and you just rinse and repeat and keep going down your list. Notice, like I said, that hydrophilic used to be a retail, now it changed to a trial. Any questions on contact lenses? We're going to go to File, Inventory, Spectacle Lens. In the Spectacle Lens module, it's going to be pretty much blank. What we are going to do is we are going to hit the Add button located up here. Please note, when you hit the Add button, you're going to get another pop-up window. This one is from our database that we store spectacle lenses with all the available procedure codes that are mapped or linked to the description of the spectacle lens. Hopefully I made sense. So meaning that if a spectacle lens says 7 by 28 trifocal polarized sunflower, we are going to know that there's going to be three procedure codes: the trifocal code, the polarized code, and the mid-index code. And that way you would be able to price out. So that's why I like adding spectacle lenses from this master list. If you have unique ones, house branded spectacle lenses, let me know and I'll show you an easy way of duplicating, renaming those spectacle lenses so that way they have the appropriate procedure code. They have everything you need and you're not recreating the wheel from scratch. You're just copying it and cloning it. That's it. Or as they say, you're using a 3D printer to build your own stuff. So we never use the search field up here. This search field, I would highly say no to, never use this. The problem with the search field is that it gives you too broad of results, meaning that your results will be too broad. Single vision CR 1339 transitions. Hopefully I wrote that right. Transitions. No, I didn't. So now that I type this out and I hit search, my results come back and it gives me 14,901 hits. If you notice, it pretty much grabbed everything. 10 by 35, 7 by 28, 7 by 35, gave me photochromic, gave me clear, gave me everything but what I wanted. Single vision plastic in transitions. What I use is these three filters that are located at the bottom right here. All you have to do is hit Add Style. Inside of this field, another window will pop up. That's where you can use this search style. So this one here is different than the one that's behind here. This is where I'm able to either go down this list and select what I want. As you can see, we pretty much covered all the brands that you want. Now, you will want to use this filter, single vision. You can type in the full thing that you want, the brand, or partial, and hit the magnifying glass. That will search for everything with the word single in it. Now, if you don't find something that is in here by typing in single vision, you can type in SV for short and see if you find anything and everything that you want under SV. Up to you. Okay? Now, single vision will be the single vision lab choice spectacle lenses. And you can just select those items that you want to import. Hit Add Style. So what I'm going to do is, because I've already imported these single visions into my database, I'm going to use this one as an example, okay? And hit Add Style. Once I've added the styles, I will go to the material, where I can go ahead and choose the materials that are available for these brands that I've selected. If you select everything, and let's say you don't do 160, you could just uncheck it. So you can select everything and then uncheck those that you don't need. It'll probably be a faster way of grabbing your items. From here, we'll hit add material. Then in the next part, we're going to go to color. In color, we're going to go ahead and add all the items we need. Please note, you do have to select clear for the clear lens to come over. And then again, if you don't use everything, just uncheck those that you don't use. That'll probably be a faster way of adding your items. Add color. Now, the more items that I've added, the longer the list. I have to use my down arrow or my scroll bar to go down and then hit search. From there, I have my list of spectacle lenses. Select the first part where it says style. There's a checkbox there. Select the first page. From there, you're able to see a sentence formulate, and it says select all 87 lenses from all pages. Basically, how many ever lenses you have, maybe 1,000, 2,000. If you're doing that and you want to import those 1,000, select here. It'll select all those items, and when you hit import, the program will transfer over those lenses. So that way, I know it's going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and just import a couple of them, okay? And hit import. That will grab those files that you've selected and transfer them over. Now, there is a crash limit. When I say crash limit, like you can only select maybe about 1,700 lenses. Anything above that might crash the system because it's importing a lot of data over. So keep that in mind. If it's frozen, meaning that the program freezes and it says not responding, leave it alone because it's transferring those files over into the database. If you force close it, the program will not import everything correctly and have missing information. You might have to start all over again. Okay? So if the program freezes, if you're importing a lot, leave it alone. The program will finish when it's finished and let you know the spectacle lenses were imported. Or as in this one, it won't say it, but I'm able to now move across the spectacle lens module. I will go over pricing afterwards, as pricing is about an hour long, and I'm going to show you a proper, quick way of doing it. We might just need a one-on-one or two-on-one session, as this one I'm going to be using header filters, filtering through all your lenses that you have imported, grabbing all the most common lenses that we have. Let's say these Veriluxes. Then you can grab materials as well. Control A is an apple. Select that list of lenses that you filtered through. You hit details, and then we would be able to add, remove, customize measurements. Same thing with treatments, and also go in and start pricing them out by procedure code.
Yeah, that's something that Armando would do.
Yes, so this one here is going off of procedure code, and this is about an hour, maybe one or two sessions as well to go through. Once you have the idea of doing it, you shouldn't ever forget, and it'll save you guys days worth of pricing, and you can probably do it in an 8-hour day,
Oh, wow.
maybe
Yeah,
less.
it would take Armando days to do it on the other system.
Yes. So there are tricks in here that a lot of people don't know, and I'll show you guys so that way it's recorded, and any new person or anybody else just needs a refresher course, of course, can watch the video and go through that process as well. All right, last but not least is your frame inventory module. The frame inventory module, all we're going to do is focus on creating the list. That's it. It's a menu that the staffers know what frames are there, what can be imported, what can't be imported. I'm sorry, what can be ordered. If it's not in that list, might not be ordered. Maybe they have to recreate it or call somebody to recreate it for them. Um, right now, again, we're going to focus on just the creation of the frame. Right when you're going to go live is when you'll start putting in the physical count. And I'll go over that on how to do that when we get close to the go live date. Okay?
Yeah. Do you work with the frames data from here?
Yes.
What I do is I have frames data. So whatever vendor I have, I go in there and I select, all their products,
Perfect.
and
So
everything pops up, and then I just go and pick my frames that I
So
ordered.
perfect. One, and that's one of the ways that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to start with that one first, as that's the one that's your primary. First things first, you do need to speak to frames data and make sure that you convert to an I as in Ivan, D as in David, A as in Apple, an IDA service. It's basically we no
I
longer accept the disks, and because we no longer accept the disk, you have to do everything electronic, and this will save you tons of time. So
Okay.
let's go to File, Inventory, Transactions, Frames Data Import. In here, we are able to go ahead and use this module to import from Frames Data. First things first, we have to build their library into our system. To build their library, we hit the install button. And what that
Okay.
does, hopefully I have that Frames Data. What that does is it starts building this list. I'm going to cut it short so that way we don't spend 5-10 minutes waiting for the thing to download. But as you can see, it starts building my list of all the manufacturers and their collections.
Right.
I'm going to just maximize this. So when you have this here, you use the control key on your keyboard to select those frames that you want to, or in collections, to import into the system.
Right.
Once you've done that, and if you need to scroll down, you can still hold the control key and just scroll down and keep selecting those items. However you want to do it, you can do it that way, okay? Once you've selected those items, then you're going to hit the load frames. This is very important. The next part is very important. When I hit load frames, it's going to say the following. Previous loaded frames data records exist. Do you want me to clear existing records? So what does that mean? Hey, I built a library for you before. Do you want me to just wipe out that library and then start in and import those items that you've recently selected? If I hit yes, it's going to wipe out that library that I had built up and replace it with the one that we have here. If I hit no, it will just add upon the library I created prior.
Right.
So it's like you're just building on top of that list. From here, you can use your drop down menu and see all the manufacturers you've imported. Now, if you have a barcode in your office and you scan the barcodes of the manufacturer's barcode on the frame itself, you can just scan that item here. You just hit the scan button and that will scan and start building your frame list for you. This
Nice.
menu down here is a holding area. It's just saying these are the frames that I want to focus and import on. If you don't have a barcode or it doesn't have a barcode, you can see what I just did. You use your drop down menu, select the manufacturer, the collection, the style, or leave the style. It's up to you on how much information you want to display. Once you have your list, you can use your drop down, this arrow down here, to start building that list of frames.
Now, if a frame does not have a barcode, can I create my own?
You can, yes. The program will auto generate a UPC code for that frame.
Oh, okay. Good.
Now, I'm going to scroll to the right. You notice that it's already working off the retail price, right? Your list wholesale cost. So you can go in here and modify your item. So if you know that this list here, you're getting these at $40, you just type in 40 down. So that way the cost is just that. It's the cost of how much you guys paid for that frame as compared to what's listed on the frame facts.
Right. Now, here, is there a way for me to say for example, we pay, I know the group cost from Frames Date is $4.99, and I want to do a 2.5 upgrade. Is there a way for me to do that and it'll
Yes.
generate that dollar amount?
Yes. So that's called your frame markup formula. The frame markup formula is a great tool to build your marking, your frames. So you can go in here, you can build your frame markup list by collection. Some offices have moved away from doing collection and they do tiers. So anything from a penny to $50, they could
Okay,
do an amount of $215, or they'll say 2.5.
okay, okay, good.
The next one, it's gonna be $50 and a penny to 60. It's gonna be 225 or 2.75, whatever it might be. You could do it that way. You can put a ceiling up, meaning that if the value is 33 cents and you want to make sure that it stays at 215, not 215.33, you can do markup. So what it does is it will leave it at that dollar value. If it's at if it's marked down, if it's in the down, if it's as down, it will bring it down a dollar. So it'll say 214 instead of 215. Whereas if you put it ceiling up, it'll stay at 215 is what I meant. Multiplier, it's how many times, as you can say, group cost 2.5, 2.75, whatever. You could do the next multiples of 10. If you hover over certain areas, it will give you a description, so that way you can understand how you want to approach this. And then ends with is if you have clearance items, you can say 0.98, 0.97, 0.99, 5.99, 2.99, 9.99, whatever you want to end that price with. Once you've done that, you're going to save it. Any future frames that you import into the system will follow these values. If you have frames that have already been imported into the system, you have to select the item and hit update pricing for the program to then go through your current inventory and change the values. Questions?
No,
All right. I know took a little detour, but that was a great segue into pricing out your frames. Thank you.
right, no, that's
So once we have that information here, you can also say what items are going to be inventoried or not. So this is a great way of saying, well, these are not inventory, these are more placed on orders. You can change all of this at the oh, where is this? You can change those values at the frame inventory module. So if you forget something, you're not stuck or in dead water because you can always modify it at the inventory module. Once you have your list, hit the import button to transfer those items that you have down here over to your frame inventory module.
right, right.
You can go ahead and hit yes to print out barcodes for those frames, or hit no and do that afterwards. It's up to you.
Now
Quick
the
import.
barcode, just a quick question. On the barcodes, do you work with that, what's the name of this printer that I have? Sado printer?
Datamax.
I
Datamax
think I have
O'Neill?
that. No, I think I have the Sado printer.
Okay. So we only support frames data, sorry, not frames data, Datamax O'Neill Mark III printers. It does
Say
not
that again?
mean we only support Datamax O'Neill Mark III printers. What does that mean? That if you run into an issue with the SATO, we're not able to assist you.
Okay,
So you can use that printer with no issues. Just you and your staffers would have to fix it or adjust it or modify it or call SATO to help you get these things working properly.
okay,
But we do support Datamax O'Neill
okay,
Mark III printers. Okay, so from here, once they're imported, they're imported. You can also use the quick import to. You have 10 more minutes for me, or you guys got to go?
I got One more
Okay.
time.
So you can also use this here to search for brands, and you can do select all and just import all six in one shot, or all 12, or each one from each style, meaning that you don't have to individually go in and select the frames. You can say, hey, you know what, for Charmant, we offer all these collections. You can hit search, bring in this whole list in one shot. Please
I have a
note,
question.
yes.
Okay. I have a question. When you're selecting some frames there, and is there a way just to do print the barcodes of everything I selected, or do I have to go, one through one, each one to print the label? Say
Oh,
I
so
selected like 15 of them.
yeah,
Is
so
there a
if
way to
I've selected
print?
these, I can hit import, and you import them. You can import those, and you'll get a pop-up window saying, do you want to print out these barcodes? Now, that's here. If you forget to print them out, there are other places that you can print them out. File, inventory, frame barcode labels.
Right, but it's possible for whatever. If I selected 15 frames and I hit barcode to print them, it'll print all 15.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can also go from here and choose the ones you want to print, hit apply, and there you go.
Okay.
And that's found under file, inventory, frame barcode labels.
Okay.
In My Vision Express, we have a an item that we can use. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Bear with me here. Give me 1 second. I'm just loading something up.
Okay.
So what you see here is the following. This is a CSV file. This file allows you to create a list of frames. Just it's a listing, remember, it's a menu, it's not physical quantity, but it allows you to create a list of frames with all their information and have it loaded into the system. So what does that mean? If you have frames that were not found on frames data, they were these cheapo generic ones, or you bought them from a wholesaler or liquidation sale, and they don't have any barcodes, you can create them in this CSV file. And once this file is here, you can actually upload it into the database. You see the import CSV in the
That
frame. Yes,
it has to be that specific format, right?
I can
That
send
template.
you an email with the format itself, so you can use that as your base template to start building your list. But yes, that has to follow a specific format. So once you have that, you can hit import CSV. Notice that even the program will say, hey, please make sure that your columns follow this specific format. So if you lose the file, you can always have it here as well. I hit OK, and then I would search for that file on my desktop or wherever I have it. I don't know where I have it. I forgot where I have it. But once that's there, it will upload that file into the database, creating those frames. Notice that those frames that I did, this was a prior upload that I did. Notice that these have start at 4. The ones that start at 4 are the ones that I have manually created into the system, showing a 4. Everything else would probably be an 8, a 7, or a 9, because that's the manufacturer's UPC code. Let's go back to File, Inventory, Frames. Now, please note, you saw 49 prior, now you see more. It's because the program does not auto refresh. What does that mean? The program will not refresh a prior module that's been opened if you did changes to it, because I imported frames from the frames data module and I had the frame module open, it will not show me any updated information. I have to close out of the module, reopen it so that way it can refresh the file. Questions?
No.
This one's straightforward because if you notice, everything's already there. I can double click a line item, and if I made a mistake and this is not an inventoried item, I could check this off. I can also change the source to say, hey, this is always going to be something that I will always order. So I don't have to, keep it as an inventory item. And your staffers are always scratching their heads saying, yeah, this says that it's an inventory item, but we're set at 0. Hey, Marsha, quick question. Is this frame in stock or not? You can always set it to order so that way they know that, hey, this is something that we have to place an order for. Avoids those questions or doubts. Questions.
I have a question. You can
Mhm.
close this window. Let's go back into what we have. I saw location. There we go. In the location retail, that'll identify which office has that frame, right?
No, the location retail is if this is, let's say this location had a high, it was an upscale. It's in an upscale location, so you sell it a little more. We can go to what location am I in? This one. 300. And then here it'll say 300. All the other locations will say 215.
Wow, crazy.
So notice the other locations are at 0 or 215. So when I'm selling this one at this location, it's going to say 300 instead of 215. That's what location retail. On hand amount is what you have on hand currently.
Is there a way that if I'm looking for that particular frame, if I don't have it, I want to know if somebody else has it. What
You can
location?
you can open up the file and you can find out here.
Okay. All right.
Here shows you everything about this system. So that way, this is a quick way. There's reports as well that you can run, but the quickest way of finding out what if there's a frame in another location is just go to the file directly, open it, and you will see which location has. You see how this warehouse has 14, but all other ones don't have anything.
Right.
And the implementation, this location says that it purchased one, it sold one, it has 0 on hand. And so the warehouse can now distribute across all locations. The nice thing is with these frames, you can also say what frames or what style of lenses are available for this frame. Anything that's selected outside that style will give a pop-up saying, hey, by the way, you've selected something that's out of the norm for this frame. You still want to continue. Same thing with materials. What materials are eligible? If you leave this alone, by default, everything is available, everything is eligible to be used for that frame. Okay? It's always like that by default. You'll have to go in and add it yourself if you want to make a change.
Okay.
Questions?
No.
All right. Um, to create a frame in MVE, this is the longest way. It's just hit add, and you can just type in the information from here. Or use the drop down menus that have already information and create it yourself.
Right.
Type in the frame name, and then you just keep going and entering in the data, hit OK, and pretty much that's it. So that there is frame inventory. I'm going to go ahead and pause.